Hi there, it's Riikka Kovasin here today, and I'm making some Easter cards this time. It seems that almost all the videos this month start with the same thing, with a A4 and acrylic paints. But let's do that again. So this time I'm using a couple of different acrylic paints to just color a sheet of A4. And I'm using these, pale Easter colors. I hope that you agree with me. I added some yellow and pale yellow as well as this really delicate green tone and also some beige. I'm just using a brayer to mix the colors up or layer them to the sheet, and then I'm letting the sheet dry. After I have the first layer dried, I then add some stamping on top. These stamps I made myself using EVA foam and just die cut these leaves shapes out of it. I cut them 3 times and then layered the shapes on top of each other using just regular craft glue, and thus making my own foam stamp. For the inking, I then use archival inks, and first I'm using the colors as they are. So this teal color, magenta, and also yellow one. But as I patterned the whole sheet, I also mixed the colors a little bit by adding yellow on top of each color. So they are then turning into oranges and greens more than just the teal and magenta ones. And I'm also creating my own yellow piece of cardstock by inking a piece of white cardstock using 2 yellow inks. This is going to be the little chicks that are going to be the focal point. After cutting the background pieces and also the little chicks, I'm first inking around the edges of the background pieces. I'm using a green ink for that, kind of highlighting that green tone of the background. I'm also using the same green ink to stamp on top of these white circles that I'm using as a background of the focal point. I then spray a little water on top to make the image look more like a watercolor effect than these readable letters and words. After drawing those circles, it's time to tackle the little chicks. The dies I'm using are for birds, so they have longer tails, and chicks, they have just a teeny tiny stubby tail, if any. So I'm cutting the long tails away and thus turning these birds into little Easter chicks. While cutting the little birdies, I'm also cut some elements for them to stand on, so they are not going to be hovering around the picture plane but stand on top of these branches. I used the same green ink for those. So there's a couple of leaves and also this kind of a floral element. And I guess you noticed already, they are the same shapes I used to decorate the background. So it's all kind of matchy-matchy, everything going together nicely. I don't want any hard contrast to these cards, but everything is looking a little bit too pale, so I need a little touch of contrast to the cards, and for that a pencil is perfect. It has this gray tone that will be more contrasting than the colors that are already in there, but less contrast than if I would use a black marker. So I'm adding little stitch lines here and there, and also kind of highlighting the outline of the little chick. Then it's time to build the layers underneath, let's say, kind of a nesting thing where the little bird is standing. For that I'm using just craft glue. I first added some twine around the card and then building the little nest on top. Now here they are, part of the sentiment stamped to the card, and now I'm attaching the little additional stripe. And I'm also mounting the center pieces to a piece of yellow cardstock before mounting it to the white card base. This kind of gives them a nice little frame, but also highlights that yellow tone or color which I combined to Easter. The sentiment is in Finnish, my mother tongue, and it's just saying Happy Easter. Happy stamped to the card and Easter in the little thin strip. After finishing the filming, I also added some epoxy stickers to each card to fulfill or fill the composition with the little nest that the chick is standing. So there's a little bit of dimensional elements in that. Thanks again for watching. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing and leave me a comment if you want to know anything more about these cards, or just say hello. And thank you so much for watching and subscribing to the channel. That really means a lot to me. I'll be seeing you within a week, I hope. And thanks again. Bye!